Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy. Calories in, calories out has resulted in eating becoming a chore that I no longer enjoy. Anybody else? Hello, I've been doing Seco for about 2 months now, eating at a deficit of roughly 600 calories a day. I weigh and track everything meticulously, and I've had a maintenance day about once every 3 weeks. I've been trusting the process and lost roughly a pound a week. I have a history of EDs, restricting, and other things. I have been over this for about 6 years now. I would consider myself to be a real foodie. I love most food, and I want everything to be delicious and pretty much think about food all the time. I just love it. I've found that the past week or two that I no longer have any interest in food. I don't crave anything. I don't want to eat any of the healthy foods in my fridge, but I also don't want unhealthy food. I just feel too lazy and unmotivated to eat. I can't feel the desire for any type of food because I'm so bored of it all. I get hungry and feel annoyed by the fact that I have to consume something to get rid of the feeling of hunger. I know this might sound like a dream when trying to lose weight, but to me it just feels a bit unsettling and sad. Has anybody else experienced this after cutting calories for a while, and did it ever pass? I actually want to eat and be healthy, and this lack of desire for food feels unhealthy and out of character. Thanks for any input. What helps me is only measuring the calorie-dense ingredients. Things like rice, cheese, oil, I estimate things I know are fine for me like fruits and veggies. Tracking every single gram of food has never worked for me, and I'm still seeing progress doing it like this, plus it's way easier. I also love food and love to cook, so another thing that helps is making things I love and then just minimizing the calorie-dense ingredients and adding more vegetables. So for example, instead of making pasta with cream and butter and the sauce with just a few veggies, I might sub the heavy sauce ingredients for lighter versions and double or triple the veggies. That way I'm still eating something I enjoy, it's just a little different than normal. I feel the same, but I made it into a positive thing. If you feel weirded out or that something's off for sure, then ignore my comment and maybe consider therapy. I can't stress enough how important it is. Personally speaking, after 2 months and something of diet and losing weight, I lost interest in food and don't even enjoy eating. But I think that's great because it makes a difference in how I was obsessed with snacking and eating out before. And also, observing the healthy people around me, I find that a lot of them have the same behavior unless it's a special occasion or have a specific craving for that day. Like, today I want to eat pesto pasta with lots of Parmesan, and then they go off and eat 3/4 of the plate and proceed with their happy day. Also, I replaced the joy of eating with the joy of cooking. I really like seeing what's on my diet plate for that day. I enjoyed the thought of cooking healthy stuff that is going to make me happier and healthier. The many different and colorful foods I now cook compared to before, etc. To sum it up, I think this could be a nice change if you think you can try and embrace it. If you simply want to stop eating, or you feel sad, depressed, or empty, I repeat, ignore my comment and care for yourself as much as you can. Best of luck with everything. It was hard for me to learn not to use food as entertainment, but as nourishment, which of course I used to do. Me and the rest of the world. This is all part of the adjustment period, I think. Your taste will change and start to point you to the good stuff that will help you out, whole foods, but it takes a while. Give it time. Thank you. Yes, I think this may be it too. I'm still eating, I'm just not overly excited about it and treat it more as something I have to do to nourish my body, and therefore try to eat foods which are nutrient dense, no matter if the taste is average or not. I've treated food as entertainment for a long time, and so it feels strange to not care about it so much, but I think it might be a healthy adjustment. I hope so. I want to reiterate what others here have already said and advise you to keep listening to professional help. I'm not coming from an ED background, and I agree, if something's off or you feel weirded out by my comment, ignore it and check with experts. My opinion is that I think it's a good thing to be neutral about food. Eat to live, don't live to eat. Food is fuel. Now, that doesn't mean that consumption can't be a treat sometimes, but generally, you just want to take care of your body. I skimmed Everett Pry's book, and he mentions how Pry people were kind of appalled by the way non-indigenous people ate, with several large meals per day. I think obsession with food is a symptom of modernity, not to mention processed food companies pretty deliberately make their products addictive, but not satiating. Sometimes you can engage in that in moderation and get a good deal out of it. I eat little treats regularly, but generally, if you buy into that, you are just benefiting a company that doesn't care about you or the earth, at the cost of your own health. I'm fulfilled by the things I do and the people in my life. Food is simply a means for me to get there. Maybe if I were in your shoes and I wanted more pleasure from food, I would explore different healthy foods and maybe end up eating a few that excite me. I always look forward to eating berries, especially frozen, and red lentils personally, but I wouldn't say apathy is a symptom of anything bad. It just means you can spend time thinking about and doing things that matter to you more. Is food the only thing you're feeling this way about? This might be totally off base, but not finding joy in things that you normally do is a pretty classic sign of depression. People often don't realize that clinical depression often feels more like boredom than sadness. In my experience, I just don't like anything and it feels like a chore is often the first sign of a depressive episode. Definitely talk to your therapist about this. I've experienced what you're going through, and it was actually a really positive turning point in adopting a new lifestyle. I think that most of us in this community have historically cared too much about food, which can manifest overeating and ED behaviors, and by ultimately knocking food down a few spots on my list of priorities, it has removed a lot of the compulsions, stress, and general feelings about what I'm eating. It's been so freeing now that I'm not a slave to my food. I'm not always thinking about my next meal or thinking about food that I'm missing out on from my diet. I would actually encourage people to do things like meal prepping and planning to take some of the active thought and inspiration out of it, honestly. It's already been said in this thread, but there really is something to the adage, eat to live, don't live to eat. It's possible that by eating healthier, you have reset your cravings and are now experiencing what it's like to not have a biochemical and physiological drive to eat. My guess is this will also change as you progress to enjoying food without the addictive parts. I'm not saying it well, but what I mean is something like this. You just got off a roller coaster, and because of that, just plain walking seems dull and lifeless. But you will soon forget the thrill of the ride, and walking will seem like the normal way to be. Food used to take up a lot of your brain, planning, anticipating, overthinking. And now your brain has some unexpected free space. On top of some of the other mindset or alter tracking methods others suggested, I recommend picking up a brain-focused project or hobby. I focus on planning home decor for a room in my house I'm not entirely happy with, or making a budget, price out a holiday down to the details, or sometimes I just play a brain game on my phone. There's no end to the ways you can satisfy that planning and overthinking habit in healthy ways. I have to agree with the others and say that these kinds of feelings are actually what normally eating means. If food becomes great enjoyment and excitement for you, it means that you have an unhealthy relationship with it, where it could almost be considered a hobby, which in turn makes you more prone to overeating. I didn't realize this myself until closely observing my thin friends and their eating habits. They only ever eat when they're truly hungry, and sometimes even forget to do so. Food isn't traditionally meant to be fun, but fuel and energy. Not looking forward to it might actually be a good healing process from your ED, because your brain starts to reduce it to what it truly is, fuel. Either way, don't be worried. It's weird in the beginning, but a great way to get away from being too focused on food in general. I have a few go-to meals that are effortless and yummy. Protein smoothies and berry bowls with cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, cacao nibs, and coconut. Both of these use frozen berries that I always have. I figured out a recipe that I genuinely enjoy, and if I make them the default way, I have the recipe saved in my MyFitnessPal, so logging is effortless. When I'm being strict, I realized I enjoy cooking more than eating, but someone else needs to eat. Like, I'll have some, but then I dread the leftovers. Often I end up just simplifying that so that cooking is easy and okay enough. Another thing that works for me is having a late lunch as my main meal, because it's food I generally wouldn't have for dinner, tuna salad or egg salad bulked up for example, and then dinner I have mostly crudités with yogurt dip or charcuterie etc., light snack dinner. Sheet pan dinners also get real common, lol. It is really fun when you discover something both yummy and easy and in line with your current food goals. The challenge of constraint can be exciting. It's a grind. I'm definitely a foodie too. There's ups and downs, but I think that overall, once you get a little system, it's fun again, because the times that you cook something special are even more fun to cook and eat. But hopefully, if you've normalized your new eating style, you can enjoy, and then go back to using food a little more for fuel than pleasure mainly. Anyhow, keep at it and good luck. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. What a 50-pound difference looks like. Never did I ever think I could lose 50 pounds and counting.